Today, I will be sharing with you the importance of embracing your failures to help you on your journey towards success. Make sure you stick around until the end, where I will be sharing 3 books that helped me on my own journey and taught me how to embrace my failures.
Alright, let's get started.
I'm Dr. Z, a neurophysical therapist by trade, and on this channel, I provide you with practical tips that you can start implementing right away to help you build the life that you deserve. I also cover educational topics specific to physical therapists, whether you're a student or a practicing clinician, which are usually flagged in the titles. But this video is for everyone. So I'll start by defining what is a success and what is a failure, and how those with a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset perceive each of those. Then I'll share how those on top stay on top. And finally, I'll share real stories of real life icons so that you can see the underlying consistencies between all the famous people, all the great athletes, the best of the best, and how all those underlying consistencies help them achieve their goals and their dreams. So these include things like failures, dedication, discipline, etc. By definition, success means the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. By definition, failure means the absence of success. Now, with these very broad and honestly terrible definitions, how can it be that these 2 words end up defining our self-esteem and how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about others? Okay, so how are those people that have a growth mindset different than those that have a fixed mindset? Well, it really comes down to their perspective on their situation and on their failures. Let's get into some examples. There's been a bunch of research studies on this stuff. If you go into PubMed or Google Scholar, you can find these things for yourselves. But we're going to go over some findings of what the research shows us. Finding number 1, those with a growth mindset find their success in learning and in doing their best versus actually accomplishing what they had set out to accomplish. And if you think about it, this is exactly what we find in the champions, people like Michael Jordan and Dan Marino, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, John Wooden, who won 10 national championships as a collegiate basketball coach, said that personal success is when you work your hardest to become your best. In fact, he even said that there was many games that gave him the same level of satisfaction as the 10 national championships that him and his team won. But a lot of those games came from the effort that they put in the preparation and out there on the court, not from the actual final outcome. Those with a growth mindset find setbacks motivating, encouraging, informative. They don't look at them like a sign to stop. On the other hand, those with a fixed mindset don't even go up against opportunities. This thing's getting annoying. Don't even go up against opportunities because they're afraid that they're going to fail. So they don't even try. For those people, success is about pretty much proving their worth, proving their superiority, plain and simple. If you think about that time in history when Michael Jordan, the best basketball player that, ever lived, went over to go play baseball for a year, he came back afterwards, and it was the worst season that the Bulls and Michael Jordan specifically ever played. And that was the only season that he really coasted along. But he said at the end of that season that he is going to come back next season and they're going to win the championship, and he's going to play harder than he had ever played. Now, he left to go fail at a sport and then came back to his dream sport, his natural sport, his talented sport, his main sport, and failed. And instead of quitting, he said, watch, I'm going to come back and win the championship next game or next season. That is a growth mindset. It is what all the best people and all the people at the top possess, and that is how they think. And that is what I want you to start striving to think like. People like Michael Jordan embrace their failures. In fact, in a Nike interview, one of his favorite quotes is, "I've lost 300 games. I've missed 10,000 shots, and 26 times I've been trusted with the opportunity to take the final shot and have missed. Best believe every single time I have missed those shots, I went home and practiced that same exact shot 100 times." Character. That is character, which just leads us into our next topic. Those on top stay on top because they possess character. Character is what allows you to get to the top and then stay on top. Darryl Strawberry, Mike Tyson, and Martina Hender all reached the top, but they didn't necessarily stay there. Now, some might argue that's because they all had personal problems and injuries that ruined their career. But so do so many other athletes that end up going through that and then getting right back up there. Ben Hogan was hit by a bus. That man was physically destroyed, but he still made it back up to the top. It's really easy to start thinking that you can just turn on and perform at your best when you're used to doing it over and over and over again, when you've won a bunch of times, when you've gotten straight A's a bunch of times. But those that consistently work as hard as they can and practice in spite of consistently performing very well, those are the ones that get to the top and stay at the top. That is the definition, or a sign at least, of character. Having resilience, building a resolve, staying in it when things aren't going as well, or when you're not as, entertained by practicing and taking a bunch of free throws back to back to back, something that you've done 10,000 times. But guess what? Michael Jordan went home after every basketball game pretty much and practiced his free throws, especially when he missed, 100% of the times after he missed one. When you think of an athlete or a team or organization that keeps winning over and over again, I want you to remind yourself, more than talent, they have character. Use that and let that motivate you to build your own character and your own resolve. Now, I've already shared a lot of examples about how Michael Jordan, an historical figure, consistently used his failures to remain at the top, but let's talk about some others. For example, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the greatest basketball players as well, when basketball outlawed his famous shot, the dunk, everyone thought that that was going to be the end of that his rise to greatness was over, that his ascent will be slowed. But you know what he did? Instead of crying over the fact that he can't dunk no more during basketball games, which later on got re-enlisted anyways, he developed his other shots, like the bank shot, like his layup, like his jump shot. And then when the dunks got reintegrated into basketball, he had all those other shots to pick and choose from, and he got even better during that time. People with the growth mindset take charge of the elements that bring about success, and they don't dwell over their failures. They learn from them. Those with the fixed mindset are their own worst enemies and their biggest barriers. They dwell on their failures, and then they think they're not good enough to try again. They're scared to get up on stage and do something for the first time, because if they fail, that is a definition of them, to them. So it's your choice. Do you want to have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? Research literally shows this is a choice. You are not born with a certain mindset. So choose today. Which one do you think is going to help you get to where you want to get to? And which one's going to help you be more happy? I feel like the answer is a really easy one, but if you still haven't gotten it, it's the growth mindset. Alright, so in the beginning of this video, I told you that I'm going to share the top 3 books that I used to help me maintain and develop my growth mindset and help me embrace my failures. These are The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, Mindset by Carol Dweck, and Limitless by Jim Kwik. Check these out and check the description below for links to these on Amazon. No, I'm not partnered with any of them, but they're great books. Give them a read. Read a page a day. They're a great place to get started. And as an extra bonus for those of you that are awesome enough to stick along this long, we're going to talk a little bit about how to grow your mindset. Have you ever thought of a sport that you thought that you're really bad at, or any skill? Maybe you want to become a doctor, an engineer. Maybe you just want to learn to drive a motorcycle. Whatever you can think of, any skill. Maybe you really are really bad at it. But I want you to acknowledge the fact that you can get better. I want you to find something that you really enjoy. If you enjoy playing basketball and you really suck at it right now, start practicing every single day. Another point, sometimes being exceptionally good at something naturally can actually be a curse. It makes you start thinking that you don't have to work on it or that you don't have to practice it. And this inevitably leads to a failure at some point down the road. Now, if this happens to you and you have a fixed mindset, you're going to think that, hey, I had a good run. I guess I'm done now. But if you have a growth mindset, you understand that you just slacked off for a little bit and you need to start practicing again. So if there's something that you used to be really good at or something that you excelled at, and at some point you hit a rock wall and you quit, go back and start practicing it. Maybe it's just something that you enjoy. Maybe I've been using basketball this whole video, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. Maybe you used to play basketball as a college athlete and you injured yourself. Although that's very unfortunate, maybe it's something that you really enjoyed. So don't let the fact that you think you're not as good as you used to be stop you from playing a sport that you thoroughly enjoy and brings you happiness. Point 3, character is developed out of a growth mindset. So I want you to take the time to really think about what you're gonna do next time you're in a pinch. Maybe you have to perform at something and you're on stage and you're speaking to a big crowd and you have a brain fart and you forget everything that you were gonna say. Think about what you're gonna do right now for those moments so that you're prepared when they come. What are you gonna do to flip that switch and go back to a growth mindset in real time so that you don't end up having a terrible rest of your performance? And my last point for you guys is those with a growth mindset find success in learning, improving, and in doing their best. And that is the formula. The more that you can do this, the more joy and happiness you will find in your own life, and the easier it will be for you to embrace your failures. Alright guys, that's all I have for you for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and comment in the box below. Also hit that like button so that you can see more videos like this. It really helps me out as well. I'm a new YouTuber and your support really helps. Alright guys, so until next time, happy holidays!